Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Big Blonde and Beautiful, the podcast, season 3. We're finally back and better than ever. If you're new here, my name's Kara Howie. I'm your host, and each week I pick a piece of media with that representation in it, and I discuss the good and the bad of it, and I give my final verdict on whether or not I think it's positive or negative fat representation. This week, our first week back, we're going to be talking about the TV show Derry Girls.
I am a Derry Girl!
You're a fucking prick, that's what you are!
Now, if you're not familiar with Derry Girls, I cannot recommend enough to go and watch this show. It's so funny. The humor, it's just like a spitfire. The episodes are very short, easy to watch. Like, honestly, you could probably finish all of the seasons in a day easily and be thoroughly entertained. But in case you have not seen this show yet and you're listening to this episode, I'm going to give you a little synopsis and a little character breakdown. So, synopsis for the premise of the show is: amidst the political conflict of Northern Ireland in the 1990s, 5 spirited students contend with the universal challenges of becoming a teenager. We're going to get to pretty much everybody, but I mainly am going to focus on Claire, played by Nicola Coughlan, and Sister Michael. I'm going to totally butcher this name. Siobhan McSweeney. I'm not going to say her name again because I'm sure that was very wrong. Anyway, we're mainly going to be talking about those 2 characters. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Many people know Nicola from the Bridgerton series. Some people know her from this. This is what I first saw her in. And let me tell you, she's incredible in Bridgerton. But her in this, she has such amazing comedic timing. Like, I don't think people know enough how hilarious she is. And I think it also, her being in Derry Girls and then in Bridgerton, shows the wide range that she has of where she can be the funny friend, I guess, if we want to put it that way. Or she can be the Bridgerton girl in the ton that he whistled down. Also, you're going to have to excuse my horrible accents throughout this because I will probably use them and they are not good. But oh well, you already signed up for this. So here we go. Claire, love her. I relate to her so much just because I was similar to her in school. I was very much an overachiever. I was the teacher's pet. I wanted to, I wanted to be my teacher's favorites. I wanted to get the best grades. I was extra about literally everything. I also was just the goody two-shoes that didn't do things to get in trouble because I was scared of disappointing authority figures. But also, like, I'm the type of person where if I ever do anything that I'm not supposed to, no matter how many people have done it before me and gotten away with it, I will get caught. It's just something about me. This is why I can never break any laws, because I truly believe the second I would, if I ever had an inkling to, I would get caught. There'd be severe consequences. I don't know what it is about me, but people are like, you. But anyway, she's very much like that. And despite the fact that she doesn't like getting in trouble and doing all these shenanigans that her friends are up to, she does follow them a lot. She's very intelligent and studious, and usually she's the voice of reason, and she's more intimidated by authority figures than her friends. So, relatable. I'm literally Claire, just in the mid 2000s, minus the Irish accent. So we were practically the same person. I wish, honestly, I hope someday to become a Sister Michael, who we're also going to talk about, because yes. Anyway, let's stick with Claire for right now. She's also something else I relate to, which is being the biggest body in her friend group. I think her friends mention it once in the whole season, if I remember correctly. They don't really discuss her weight, which again, yay, because that never happens in media, especially, actually, not even especially nowadays, just ever. Our body 98% of the time is brought up in movies, TV, books, like whatever. But hers is not really. I don't know. I feel like they more tease her about how uptight she is. Because, girl, there's this one part where she's, Erin, the, like, main character, her dog has died. At least, so she thinks. And they're studying for some type of exam that's super important for their placement in school. And Erin's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Claire. Is my something like, is my loss or my grief getting in the way of your study time?" And Claire goes, "Yeah, actually it is."
I just can't get my head around it. The fact that he's gone forever.
It's so sad. It really is. It is so, so sad. But at the same time, I know it's done is done, so let's crack on.
Oh, I'm sorry, Claire. Has his sudden tragic death interrupted your studies?
Well, it has a bit, actually, yeah.
I was like, she's like so one-track mind of like, I need to be the best student, and like, you guys are lacking and you're getting in my way. She's so funny. It's so good. She also, the one time that she gets drunk in this show, she's like chugging wine because her friends have been like, oh, like teasing her for being a goody two shoes type thing, because they're going to see a teacher after, like, at night and drink wine underage. Not good. She's correct. That's not okay to do. As a teacher, would never. First of all, my kids are like daycare age, so absolutely not. But even if they weren't, no. But she goes there and she just starts chugging the wine. Like, if she's gonna commit, she's gonna commit. And I respect that. But they're walking home and they bump into what's her name? Jenny. Oh, they bump into Jenny Joyce, who is literally the most annoying character, and I feel like we all had a Jenny Joyce, at least one at our school. I'm thinking of her. I know who she is. I'm not gonna say names, but I definitely had one. But she's like, Jenny's like, "Are you drunk?" And Claire goes, "Your mom's drunk." And she's like, just everything that Jenny says to her, she's like, "Your mom's." Ugh. I'm trying to remember exactly what she says. Your mom doesn't even make any sense. So it's just very funny.
Well, that's a bit inappropriate.
Your ma is a bit inappropriate.
That doesn't even make sense.
Your ma doesn't even make sense.
Is she drunk?
Your ma's drunk.
How she doesn't like to break the rules, but then when her friends, she's very susceptible to peer pressure. But when her friends are like, "You're being a goody two shoes," like, of course you're not going to. She's like, "I will prove you wrong to the highest degree." And you gotta respect it. But yeah, like I said, she's the biggest friend in the friend group. But they don't really mention it. They more talk about her uptightness. She is also, as we learn in the middle of season 1 on the episode when they like take over the school paper, she is, as she would put it, a wee lesbian.
It is me.
No, I mean, I'd be less surprised if it was you.
It is.
No, it's not. But if it was...
Erin, it's me. I'm the wee lesbian.
You fancy gears?
Well, that's sort of an entry-level requirement, Erin.
So she comes out unintentionally. So she wrote an anonymous essay and submitted it, and Erin couldn't come up with any good ideas for the newspaper because all of her ideas were just not good. And so she's like, let's look through these essays and find something that we can plagiarize, basically. And they come across this and they're like, it's anonymous, perfect. And Claire immediately is like, I'm out. They don't know it's her. And finally, when she does tell them, Erin's like, does the classic straight girl thing where she goes, I'm not interested in you like that. And Claire goes, I'm not interested in you. Look at the state of you. And I'm like, yes.
Do you mind? I'm trying to come out here.
Well, don't come out. Go back in.
I don't want to go back in.
Well, I'm sorry, Claire, but I'm just not interested in you, not like that.
I'm not interested in you like that. Look at this state of you.
Because I feel like that's such a straight girl thing to say. Is like, oh, but are you like attracted to me? Because like I'm not attracted to you. No. Just because I come out to you does not mean that I am attracted to you. Okay, thanks. Next. But so not only do we get that representation in Claire, we also get queer representation in Claire. And I like that they did it in the first season because we get to sort of see Claire come into her own. I don't know. I just love this character. So now that we've talked about Claire, let's move on to Sister Michael, who I'm not going to pronounce the actress's name because I know I butchered it. McSweeney's her last name. I'll just say that. Sister Michael has to be one of the best characters in the show. She might be my favorite if it wasn't for Orla. She's just so, like, weirdly, calmly unhinged. She's unapologetic about all of her opinions and everything that she does. And she just, like, has this dry sense of humor and sarcasm that just matches with these girls who are, like, so all the time. It's just so good. And one of my favorite things is that she's constantly giving this character, Father Peter, a hard time just for, like, being him.
Oh, I took a bit of a sabbatical last year.
Do you mean when you shacked up with a slut hairdresser, but then she dumped you?
Miss Mallon, please. Raise your hand if you want to ask a question.
Okay, I think we should just move on.
The hairdresser certainly did.
Because he's kind of like that cringy, if you grew up Christian like I did, like that cringy youth pastor who tries too hard to relate to the kids through God. It's like that. And she's having none of it. She also, I feel like every school day, they start the day with like a little assembly, and Jenny Joyce usually is running it, and they sing some horrible rendition of a song, and she's horribly off key. And I think it was maybe the first episode or one of the first episodes, Sister Michael's like, did I not like ban this song? And the lady next to her like puts on her glasses, goes through the list, and she's like, no, you banned like My Heart Will Always Go On, I Will Always Love You, like basically just naming a whole bunch of songs with love in it. And she's like, huh. And then after they're done finishing, she goes, add this one to the list. And she also gets roped into like running things like the talent show. And she's very obviously not having it. And she's like, I'm not doing this next year. I'm serious this time. She just enjoys like making their lives more complicated. And I just think it's really funny. I don't know how else to describe Sister Michael. But to be honest, even though I'm mostly focusing on Claire and Sister Michael, this cast is probably one of the most realistic in terms of body diversity. Like, some of them are quite thin, but some of them are mid-sized. Like, they look like your average family. And you would think, like, yeah, Kara, it's a show about a family in Ireland. Duh, they're going to look like an average family. No. Because listen, so many shows and movies pick the hottest people and put them in a family. I'm like, that is so unrealistic. Okay. They're not all going to look like that. And so this show it just kind of feels homey because of how realistic the casting is. Like, You feel almost like you're watching a chaotic Irish version of your own family. Or if you are chaotic and Irish, then you're just watching your own family. And it's so fun to watch the dynamics between all the characters. I wanted to start this new thing this season where I read some comments. Sometimes there'll be funny comments, sometimes there'll be more serious ones where it talks about like a topic in the piece of media that I want to get more in depth about. But let's start with this one. This is what I'm saying. This one says, I laughed so hard. Sometimes I had to pause just to get control of myself. Not a weak link in the cast. Sister Michael is my new role model. Don't miss the Derry Girls. And that's what I'm saying. Sister Michael should be all of our role models because she just does what she wants. Nothing else. I also feel like I have this vibe from her that she fully became a nun simply because she didn't want to deal with men. And I respect her for that. And I'm going to do it too. Just kidding. I'm not Catholic, but maybe if I was. Who knows? This person said, really chuffed, which means pleased. I looked it up. They went hard on supporting our leprechaun community with the rainbow badges they wore in nearly every scene. That's true. As soon as Claire comes out, all of them have like a rainbow flag or button or whatever on their clothing or their book bags or something. So just a little subtle thing to be like, ally. And then this is our last one. It says, I just loved it. Sister Michael is the best character. Facts. Orla is my favorite character. Same. Each and every character stands out. So well written. The comedy is so well written. Say that 10 times fast. That you can't stop yourself to pause and have a laugh. So now, the time has come for the verdict. I feel like it's going to come as no surprise that I'm going to say that this show is positive fat representation. Not only because the characters are hilarious and just fun to watch, but like I said, the cast is pretty body diverse. Like, it's a realistic casting of a family. And also, they don't mention their weight. I feel like if they ever mentioned Sister Michael's weight, she would like either murder them or find a way to make their lives just a literal living hell. Don't cross her. I'm telling you. You have to watch it to know what I'm talking about, but it's so good. I love starting off the season on a positive note because it hasn't always been that way. But I think that's all for this episode. Thank you guys so much for being here for season 3. I'm very excited. I have some awesome guests lined up. Oh, and just a reminder that I did switch the schedule, so I will be releasing episodes every other Wednesday instead of every Wednesday, just to kind of spread out the season a little bit more, make it easier for me because, you know, this is a side thing I do. I have work, I have photography, I'm trying to find a new job in media. So there's a lot going on, and I really want to put out quality content. And so I am going to move it from every week to every other week, but I think it's going to be well worth it, and I hope that you stick around, please. But as always, you can follow us on social media. There's Instagram at bbb.podcast and TikTok at bbb.thepodcast. And you can follow me on pretty much every social media at Carolina Howie. That's Carolina with a K. And until next time, stay fat and fabulous. Bye.